This is Aliens in the Attic, the video game based on the film, a side-scrolling platformer for the Nintendo DS. Very nice old-school synthesizer-style soundtrack in this one. And who builds rotating saws beneath the floorboards? That seems extremely impractical and like it would be a huge waste of energy. If you're old enough to remember the days of side-scrollers on the Nintendo Entertainment System or Sega Genesis or any of the old-school consoles, or if you just like to play those older games, surely you remember times when you'd get stuck on the first or second level of a game until you memorized certain attack patterns or places to jump, things like that. Aliens in the Attic is not a bad game, but it starts off very slow and very easy compared to side-scrollers back in the day. So aside from that, this game is actually made quite well. You choose between 3 different playable characters, each of which does something different. You hop and jump around the screen, shooting enemies, throwing grenades, and find various household objects to upgrade your weapons to defeat the aliens in the attic. Hopefully they're not the kind of aliens that spew acid all over you when you shoot them. That would be a very different game. And for those of us who are spaceship side-scrolling or vertical-scrolling shooter fans, these end bosses remind me of something straight out of Ikaruga or Gigawing, except that they're a whole lot easier. As anybody with half a brain knows, children can withstand far more laser beams than spaceships. So if you can defeat Raiden 3 without breaking a sweat, you're going to wipe the floor with this game, but it's probably not aimed at you either. It's aimed at your kids. They've done a nice job with the controls in this game. You can play the standard old school style with the D-pad and the buttons, which is what I'm predominantly doing, or you can run around and then control where you're firing with the Nintendo DS stylus. If you noticed in that previous shot, the bottom screen has an area where you can guide your gunfire. It's practically impossible to run around and shoot with the stylus when I'm recording, and I tend to prefer gameplay with the buttons anyway, but for those of you who are good at using both the stylus and the D-pad, the firing system in this game can be very precise. When you need to reach higher locations, you turn into the little girl in the game, Hannah, because little girls can double jump. It's true, they defy the laws of physics. She jumps once, and if you push the button again, she exerts force into magic, which allows her to double jump. Then when you want to blow things up, you've got to turn back into one of the guys in the game. There's 5 different environments in the game, each with 5 levels. And it does get more challenging. What we're watching is gameplay from earlier in the game, but nowhere near as difficult as they used to be. So I would classify it as a side-scrolling platformer for casual gamers or for your kids who may not have grown up with the crushing difficulty of side-scrollers from years past. You can also find versions of this game for the PlayStation 2 and the Nintendo Wii. There was a time when just about every other game that came out was a side-scrolling platformer. These days, just about every other game is a first-person shooter, so it is nice to see a side-scrolling platformer. It doesn't really do anything wrong, so fans of side-scrollers looking for something new that they haven't played may want to check it out. On the other hand, you may just want to play Sonic the Hedgehog, Bionic Commando, Mega Man, or Contra for the 5,000th time. I leave it up to you. I don't tell you what to buy, unless it's Yar's Revenge, in which case I do tell you what to buy. Yar's Revenge. Which has nothing to do with this game except it has aliens. No, they're insects. Well, they're like space insects. Whatever, these kids should be able to call in the Zorlon cannon for support whenever they need it.